Okay, on this video, I'm gonna be doing an oil change. It's the same exact thing, like you'll do in any vehicle. You'll find out how many quarts of oil does it take. On this particular car, it's a '07 328i. It takes 7 quarts of oil. It has his oil filter. We'll need a socket set. I think it's a 16 millimeter, but this is a whole different. This is not standard size. I need to find out what that size it needs for non-standard. A jack, um, 2 stands for your vehicle when you lift it up. This ratchet to remove your oil filter. If you want to know the item number, the stock number for this one, it's right here. For this one, I got this one at the BMW shop, and I did buy BMW oil, so it's right here, 5W30. Got an oil catcher, so when we drain the oil, and a flathead, just to remove the bottom door under the for the to drain the on the drain plug on the bottom. That's what we got that for, the flathead. And so right now I'm gonna do the oil change. I just showed you what we needed. So let's start. So in my case, I was wondering why my oil level was low. It was because I'm gonna show you example why. After a while, if you don't tighten your oil bolt right here, this bolt has a washer, and if it's not tight enough, the washer, or this bolt will get loose a little and it'll start squirting oil everywhere. As you can see in my case, there's oil everywhere. So you can see that there's oil all down here, but there's no oil up on top right here. Up there is because when the car is going forward, the oil is pushing back. So that's why there's a lot of oil right here. Oh yeah, there is some up here. So let me get this cleaned up so we can do the oil change. Okay, it's a 17 millimeter socket for that bolt down there to let the oil start draining. So while it's draining down here, I'm gonna come up here, and then I'm gonna open up the filter so the air will have it will have no suction, so it'll let a lot of the oil out of the engine. So while it's draining down there, I'm gonna be taking off the oil filter. So let me do that right now. So on this one, I'm using a 1/2-inch socket or ratchet with a socket. For this one on the top, it takes a what is that, 11/16, something like that, for this one right here. So we're gonna loosen the oil filter so we can let the air go through the engine block, let the oil out. As you can see, there's just a little bit of oil coming down. Let me move this over a little. Yeah, I expected the bottom of it, there's only oil around the under the engine block because it was escaping through the copper ring for the that bolt for the oil filter. So I guess it was just that copper ring got a little too small. and start letting oil escape. That's why it's real important to change out that copper ring anytime you do your oil change. So right now I'm gonna take this out. I don't want to do it with one hand, and then I'll get back to you guys. And right here you're going to see oil here, and then you could just leave it there until it starts draining downwards out of the oil filter thing. So the oil filter looks like it's time to be replaced. On the oil filter, here's the number for it. So the oil filter will come with the oil filter, the seal ring gasket for the housing, the copper ring that you need to replace on the bolt under the vehicle, and it has a little ring right here that goes right here. Just make sure you replace all of these gaskets. Replace this one and definitely this one, because if you don't, your oil will start shooting out of your oil filter housing. So that's what we gotta do. And this should slide right out, just like this. And just pushing your new oil filter. I'm trying to do it with one hand, but before we do that, I'm gonna change out this one. So let me change everything out, and then I'll get back to you guys. I guess another tool to have handy is a little pick to pick out the seals from here and here. I already did that. I already replaced them, and you can find that these old ones are real brittle. They're real hard, or not real hard, but they're hard, and they get brittle. If you want, when you're done, you can get oil. They make it a big deal. People make it a big deal. You need oil to lube this up. But remember, when I put this back in, my rings have oil on them already. So it's the same thing. I don't rub oil on them because in here there's already oil. As you can see, there's oil right here around the ring. But you could always lube this up. The only reason why is that if it's dry, that this O-ring will move out of place, and then you have some oil, pretty much oil spill out of your oil housing. So let me sit in. Now we just put the oil filter back in, and then we'll pop this back into the housing. Oil stop leaking down here. There's no more oil leaking, and whatever is left up here is just gonna stay in here. If you want, you can suck this out with a suction cup or something, but in my case, I don't really care if there's old oil in there still. I'm just gonna pop this right back in, and then squeeze out that oil that's in there, and hopefully it squeezes out down to the bottom. And then I'm gonna tighten this back up, and then the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put the 7 quarts of oil and tighten up the bottom screw. So I just replaced the copper ring, as you can see. These copper rings are one-time use only, because once you tighten this bolt, it should get nice and tight, so it won't let any oil out. And that's why it's real important to replace them anytime you do your oil change. So let's put this back. Oh, one other thing. This is 1 and 1/16 for the thing to remove the oil filter housing. So that's the size that I was using. Okay, when you lift up your vehicle, this is the bracket to grab your jack right here, and it'll lift up the vehicle in the middle, so you don't have to wonder how I did it. So this is the main jack. There's one on each side, right there on the other side. But that's how you do it when you pick up your car in the middle. So the bolt, as you can see right here, it's a little squish. See how it's a little squish right there? That's how it's supposed to look. When you tighten the bolt, it's supposed to look a little squished. So there's pressure against the bolt, and then the motor oil pan. So it wasn't like this before. So that's how you do it, or else you're gonna get oil all over your car like how mine is. And let's put in the oil. This is how it looks like when I'm jacking on my car. I'm using a low profile jack just to get under the vehicle, because if you use the big jacks, it's hard to get under the vehicle. So this is how it looks like. And then I'm gonna pick it up to take off the supports on each side, so I can put oil in the car. When I pour my oil into the engine block, I like to put well, in this case I have the housing off because I'm gonna do another video on spark plugs. But just say you do have the housing on cover on top right here. I like to put napkins or a mechanic washcloth, whatever these are called. I like to put it around just so I won't get no oil spilled anywhere. I might as well catch it before it falls, so that's the reason why I do that. And I like to just pour it over like this on the sideways. Pour it over sideways, just real slowly, and then I'll get the oil in there. And just be careful, as you can see on the previous clip, there's rings right here. It almost fell off, and if I didn't push it down far enough, it would have just came off and went straight into the engine block. So make sure you these things, when you break the seal, make sure you push this down, or else pretty much it'll go into your engine block. So let's see, let's pour it in there. And I think that's why BMW makes their little containers a certain way, so it could be easy to be drained, and the oil will come out more smoother instead of it hitting like glompy or waves and shooting oil everywhere. So that's a good design right there. I like that, because if you buy the other oils from the other brands, they don't do that. They have it built, made a different way. So on this vehicle, I do add 7 quarts. I know it's exactly 7 quarts to fill the engine block. There's no dipstick here, so I know in my case, in this particular vehicle and engine size, it takes 7 quarts. This is a 6-cylinder gas. This is not diesel. Mine does not have twin turbo. This engine does not have twin turbo. So different vehicles are on different quarts. So just check your manual to see how many quarts your vehicle recommends, and then go from there.